Now, there's a saying in the design world that every wall is a blank canvas, but if your walls have been looking a little too, well, blank, then take heart, because more homes are now awash with wall coverings that are rich in texture, color and design.
On Real Deal, we look at the latest trends in wall coverings and find out what you should consider before dressing up that space.
Wallpaper is back in vogue, with bold, stylish patterns and a variety of textures. From retro glam to metallic finish and natural-looking prints, wall coverings are bolder, sexier and more adventurous. Some homeowners are even opting for personalized versions.
Wall coverings has come a long way since the past 5 decades or so. Manufacturers are using a lot of different materials now. Some of the latest trends in wall coverings includes vinyl materials, mimicking textures such as bricks, leather finishes, even cement finishes and all that. So these are some of the trends that are really coming up within the past couple of years, and we see that actually going on for the next 1 or 2 years at least. We also have a lot of customers, they want to have a picture, of their wedding photos or whatever on the back wall. Also have things like hand-painted wall coverings.
The pattern, design and texture of the wall covering all works towards complementing the space and communicating its function.
I ever encounter a customer come to me, he actually wants to look for some wall coverings which have some movie star character, using the character that he likes, and then I will just print it on the wall coverings.
If you want to do something for a corridor, where we're expecting a lot of traffic and all that, choose something made of vinyl. Okay, why? Because it's basically going to give you a lot of durability. Okay, you can clean easily. Okay, whereas on the other hand, if you want to do wall coverings for maybe say a music room, okay, you got to think about things like the acoustic level of the product.
But before you get the decorator in to cover up your walls, here's some basics you need to know. It's important to understand the base and coating. Is your wall covering made of paper, PVC-coated polyester, or some other material? Woven fibers and PVC-coated polyesters are stronger, making the wall covering more resistant to wear and tear. On the other hand, this may also mean the material is not washable or breathable, making it more prone to mold and mildew. The next thing you need to understand is how to attach the wall covering. Glue, water, magnet, or is it self-adhesive? This really depends on the type of application and wall. And finally, the installation.
First and foremost, I think what you got to do before you actually start the installation for any walls is that you need to measure the walls. Okay, you need to know the height of the wall, you need to know the width of the wall. Why is that important? Because you need to know the amount of materials that you're going to need. What the installer had actually done over here is that he actually cut the whole entire row of wall coverings into 3. And you got to factor about 1 inch or 2 in addition to the 2.4 meters height. Okay, because in certain areas, in certain flats or condominiums, some of the walls, it may not be exactly straight. For this, because it comes with a non-woven backing, we actually do the paste the wall application.
And help it stick better?
It
or
does.
It just helps with the application process?
It helps with the application, and because we have a non-woven backing, after the installation, okay, it prevents any expansion or contraction of the wall covering. Okay, which may allow you to actually see seams in future.
So it secures it in place as well as making sure it sort of stays. I noticed he has a little, like a plastic card.
This is to ensure that the wall covering is very safely adhered, and get into contact with the glue. Another point, for this wall covering, you see that there's actually pattern match. If the pattern repeat is actually large, you may result in a higher wastage of materials.
Yes.
Okay, because it doesn't just match based on the 2.4. For every panel, you may have a wastage based on how high or how large the pattern repeat is.
I've noticed that guy has just disappeared, so...
Right, so...
Does that leave it to me to have a go and try and install?
Why don't you give it a try? Just apply it onto the wall like you would do with paint. So
what are the kind of mistakes that people make when they're...
basically, it's using too much glue. Too much adhesive,
okay.
I would say. If you have too much adhesive, it's going to take a long time to cure, and it's a little bit more difficult to maneuver around.
So is there anything else you need to do to the wall, I mean, other than the adhesive, to prepare it?
Well, another thing that's very important is to ensure that the wall, okay, is actually flat and smooth. Okay, so for walls that are not in the condition is not so good, we do recommend to actually plaster smooth it and apply some water-based sealant onto it prior to installation.
Because my first goal here is to line up the first thing where I can.
That's the most important part. If it's not accurate, you can just move it a little, push it a little, nudge it a little.
Oh, okay. It's actually quite pliable.
Yeah.
You can push it out.
Upwards, downwards, wherever you can. So flatten the joints.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Upwards. You can use a little bit more force on this. So just follow the edge and move along the edge.
Follow the edge.
Fine. Yeah.
This is the sort of thing I think you can only do once, otherwise. You'll do the whole thing again if you get this wrong. Okay. Okay, so Derek, what happens if you get like something in the middle, like a cut or it scratches?
It's very important for you to hold on to some materials, okay? If you have a cut or whatever, all we need to do is do a little cutting.
Okay, so you're actually patching it,
yes,
pretty much.
You're doing a patching.
And to make your wall covering last, minimize its exposure to drastic temperature changes.
There's a method to actually maintain this kind of wall coverings, especially aircon area. You off the aircon, let the temperature back to the normal, and then you just open up for the windows and the doors. The wall coverings actually can, if you know how to maintain it, it can last for maybe 5 to 7 years.
A simple yet effective way to take care of your wall covering to extend its lifespan.